You go for the rides, the shows, the restaurants, the memories. All the things you'll try to pack into your journey through the most magical place on Earth. But, do you ever wonder whether your trip to Disney might leave you feeling like you missed the coolest parts? Whether you've wanted to go to Disney World for the first time, or even if you're a regular, one day you'll take a closer look around and notice hidden clues that are only revealed when you slow down for a few seconds and actually look around. I'm Mike with List 25, and these are 25 Disney World secrets hiding in plain sight. 25. The entrance is designed like a movie theater. When you arrive at the Magic Kingdom by ferry or monorail, the entrance will do more than welcome you into a theme park. The scene is designed to make you feel like you're walking through a movie theater to see your favorite feature on the silver screen. A plaque reads, "Here you leave today and enter a world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy." When you walk into the station, it gives you the sensation of stepping into a lobby where the outside world fades away and your attention focuses on what lies ahead. Even the red pavement is reminiscent of a red carpet. And that nostalgic small town feeling, that's not accidental either. Main Street was designed to feel like an idealized hometown street from another era. That's why it can feel familiar even if you didn't grow up anywhere close to Walt's hometown of Marceline, Missouri, the town that inspired the classic feel. 24. Main Street windows are opening credits. Entering the park feels like you've stepped into a time machine and got off the train in another time and place altogether. Those second-story windows on Main Street look like the storefronts for old businesses, but they also serve as the park's opening credits. They honor real people who helped build the Disney parks, and they're written in that Victorian Americana typeface style, so it feels like a functioning small town still. It's pretty clever how they're phrased. Companies and offices that hint at what the person did. For example, Buena Vista Magic Lantern Slides lists animators like Yale Gracie, Ken O'Brien, and Walter Rogers, who worked on films like Bambi and Pinocchio. Or top Disney exec Card Walker listed as practitioner of psychiatry, a fun tribute to his career where he oversaw the openings of both Epcot and Tokyo Disneyland. Once you spot one, you'll start scanning every building like you're waiting for your favorite name to pop up. It's also one of the most visible permanent tributes Disney gives, which is why it carries a little extra weight. 23. Skipper Canteen hides a secret passage through the bookshelf. Skipper Canteen is the so-called mess hall for all those taking the nearby Jungle Cruise ride. It's like a clubhouse for explorers. On the walls, you can find maps and artifacts, and you may also notice a suspicious bookcase. That shelf may merely be a fun threshold into the adjacent dining room, but the secret book alludes to a Disney film. It's a copy of Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book, and you can find it tilting outward like someone just pulled it to try to open a secret door. The Jungle Book is a Disney animation classic. You might even say stopping by the Canteen for lunch should be considered one of the bare necessities of a fun trip to Adventureland. The book, of course, inspired the animated film, which was the last one that Walt saw through to completion before he passed in 1966 due to lung cancer. 22. Aladdin's walkway is littered with hidden treasures. I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Okay. Alright, well, maybe not the world, but at least around Aladdin's magic carpet ride. Here you may see something shining which could be construed as scattered relics from Prince Ali's travels through the Cave of Wonders. Just down the street from the Jungle Cruise in Adventureland, sealed in the pavement, you can find jewels, gems, and other treasures you'd imagine falling from a merchant's stand after the guards chased Aladdin through the streets of Agrabah. But if you look closely enough, or, ask a cast member, you may be rewarded with a truly special find. The smallest hidden Mickey in a bronze medallion lost between pieces of lost treasure. Every turn a surprise. And with that kind of luck, do you really even need 3 wishes on a lamp after all? 21. The Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse has the best secret view. Until now. The treehouse gets skipped by most everyone because it's off the beaten path, and yes, it's essentially the line simulator, but that's exactly why it's useful to you. It's one of the few places in Magic Kingdom where you can step out of the stream of strollers and scooters and get above the crowd. Then you can feel the pace drop off in an instant. This is a spot where you can get classic Disney environmental storytelling. Mundane objects lure you into a daydream of a family living here. improvising survival tools, adapting to their circumstances, and making a home in the middle of nowhere. The story centers around a family getting shipwrecked on a deserted island and building a new life out of the wreckage from their ship to survive while they await rescue. Their treehouse helped them rise above danger in 3 films. But for you, that elevation means you get sightlines you wouldn't normally enjoy. You're not going up there for the best view in the park, but you can catch interesting angles across Adventureland. And on the right night, you can even glimpse bits of those Magic Kingdom fireworks beyond the trees. 20. Frontierland addresses walk you through the decades. Adventureland may have captured the mood of the British Empire uncovering new secrets in its colonial era, but Frontierland pays homage to the story of America's own journey west as its colonies expand, unveiling the possibilities in the new world over decades. And Frontierland tells this story through architecture. The facades of the old-timey wooden buildings and storefronts shift from the edge of civilization style of construction towards sturdier boomtown energy as you go. Then you're nudged into rougher mining country textures closer to the mountains and riverside. Some of those street addresses function like timestamps, signifying the era the building is meant to represent. Town Hall, marked 1867, is a great starter, and Pecos Bill, dated 1878, is another easy one to spot. Once you lock onto the pattern, you'll start noticing dates all over Frontierland. You're not just heading to the next attraction, you're drifting through history and stepping into the shoes of an American walking through time and the Wild West. 19. The Liberty Tree's 13 Lanterns. Liberty Square has plenty of obvious colonial theming, but the Liberty Tree is one of the coolest hidden in plain sight details in the whole park. Hanging from it are 13 lanterns, each representing one of the original colonies. Once you know, you really can't unsee it. As with the Statue of Liberty torch, these lanterns can be seen as enlightening, serving as a beacon for freedom and justice, as was the promise of America. It's a nod to early American identity you can appreciate. And the tree itself is real, which helps the whole area feel less like a stage and more like a part of town that's been there all day, every day, inviting you to take notice. 18. Liberty Square shutters tell a survival story. Those crooked shutters aren't poor maintenance. I mean, come on, it's Disney. Every detail has meaning. There's storytelling behind the wear. The real story behind the sagging shutters is that in wartime, metal was valuable, and sometimes scarce in colonial America. So, hardware like metal shutter hinges might be removed and melted down to make more bullets or bayonets for battle. People could replace missing hinges with leather straps, leather that would sag and stretch so shutters would start to droop instead of hang straight. Disney recreated that look on purpose because imperfections create believability. These small signs of improvisation make it feel like a town that had to get by with what it had. And once you start noticing that stylistic choice, you'll notice it in just about everything in how Disney crafts their worlds. 17. Fire insurance nod tied to early America. The symbol of 4 clasped hands in Liberty Square is a deep-cut historical reference hiding in plain view. It's a reference to old fire insurance fire mark signs placed on buildings to show they were insured. In 1752, Benjamin Franklin helped establish America's first successful mutual fire insurer, the Philadelphia Contribution Ship for the insurance of houses from loss by fire, which still operates today as the nation's oldest property insurance company. It helped popularize the idea of neighbors pooling resources to recover from fire losses while also encouraging organized firefighting. The clasped hands were used to signal mutual protection and coverage. The mark acted as a proof of insurance and also served as advertising. Everyone walking by could see which organization you trusted. Disney didn't have to include this detail at all, and that's why it's such a great one. It shows how everyday Americans kept each other safe from the start. 16. The dirty secret in Liberty Square streets. Spoiler alert, this fact might actually spoil your appetite. Liberty Square features a brown strip in parts of the street curving through town. Some suggest it's meant to represent a time when waste would have flowed in colonial times. It is one of the boldest examples of Disney being historically honest in the least glamorous way possible. But it makes sense. Liberty Square is trying to feel like an older town, and older towns were messy. If the streets looked perfectly clean, the place would start to feel like a polished set instead of a lived-in environment. So adding this one uncomfortable little layer will keep the illusion grounded. It also helps that Liberty Square leans into lantern lighting, worn texture, and slightly uneven finishes. The dirty detail fits the broader idea that history wasn't tidy, and neither is this street if you're paying attention. 15. A memorial to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. On your way out of Haunted Mansion, slow down and look for the small fenced pet cemetery off to the left. It's here that you can find a tribute to the once wildly popular Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. That was a beloved ride at Magic Kingdom for years until it closed in 1998. Nowadays, that space is home to the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. So seeing Mr. Toad memorialized in a graveyard is Disney Imagineers' humor doing two jobs at once. It fits Haunted Mansion's macabre manner of hosting guests, and it subtly acknowledged the change long remembered by guests. It's a nice consolation for fans who felt like they were missing out on one of their favorite experiences. It's really quite the Disney solution. Close down one ride and hide little hints of it somewhere else in the park. I wonder what dinosaur Easter eggs they're going to have. 14. Memento Mori keeps Madame Leota's presence alive. Just after you leave the spooky vibes from the Haunted Mansion ride, you may find yourself in Memento Mori, a gift shop with a Latin name that translates to, remember, one day you will die too. The haunting presence follows you long after the ride ends. The best part is how it leans into the sense that something is still alive here, especially through mirror-based tricks and eerie portrait-style effects that make you look twice and keep you on your toes. And if there's one character who makes you feel like you're communing with the dead through some sort of seance, it's Madame Leota. I actually had to look closely and patiently for the spirit to show her face. Now, on the ride itself, you can see her disembodied head glowing in a crystal ball. The shop offers supernatural hints and the feeling that you're not alone. What makes it even more unsettling is that cast members won't even acknowledge the ghostly image of Madame Leota showing in the mirror, saying something like, "I don't know what you're talking about." The only spirits they will acknowledge are the bottled spirits placed among Madame Leota's other earthly possessions, lining the shelves of the spooky shop. 13. Hidden Pascals turn the Tangled area into a low-key scavenger hunt. Pascal is a chameleon, and so he should naturally be hard to spot. Looking around the Tangled theme area near Rapunzel's tower, he and his friends show up tucked into small crevices where you'll miss them unless you slow down and look. The fun is that it doesn't feel like an official game. You just notice something slightly out of place, squint, and suddenly, oh, you're the person pointing at a wall like you found buried treasure. It also creates a strangely wholesome group moment. Like, people who don't know each other will stop, compare notes, and help each other see it. That's a very Disney thing to happen. So, if you ever want proof that themed areas aren't just scenery, this is it. The details are built to reward attention, not just provide a backdrop. 12. The Cinderella fountain crown trick only works if you see it like a kid. Behind Cinderella Castle, there's a fountain scene with Cinderella, which includes a simple perspective trick that feels like magic when it clicks. Stand centered, then crouch down to about child height, and the crown behind her head lines up so it looks like she's wearing it. From normal adult height, it can look like the crown is floating or sitting oddly, but drop down and suddenly it locks into place perfectly. These little discoveries are really so magical with a friend in person, which is why the best Disney details spread by word of mouth. 11. The Steamboat Willie-style hidden Mickey near Little Mermaid. After joining Ariel in Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid, yes, that is the whole proper name of the ride, most people are already planning what to do next. But instead, slow down near the rockwork outside the exit and scan the rocks on the right for shapes. This particular hidden Mickey is less an obvious hidden Mickey and more like you have to be in the right spot. Take a step left, then right, and tilt your head. Sometimes getting lower helps. It's like an optical illusion where the image resolves only from a specific angle. When it finally clicks, it feels like you've actually discovered something. And the Steamboat Willie reference harkens back to the earliest era of Mickey fame. Steamboat Willie debuted in 1928, so this may be one of the deepest cuts in the world of finding hidden Mickeys. 10. The Mine Train vultures are attraction archaeology. On Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, look up early near the mine entrance, and you'll spot two vultures perched overhead. They aren't random decorations. They're a deliberate throwback to the old Snow White Scary Adventures attraction, a little piece of the past carried forward into something newer. Disney loves this kind of quiet continuity. Whenever we lose an attraction, it doesn't always disappear completely. It often lives on in small details that reward people who have been coming for years. That's why it feels like archaeology. You're not just riding a coaster, you're catching a preserved artifact tucked into the scenery. And it echoes the same idea you see elsewhere, like the Mr. Toad tribute near Haunted Mansion. The park rarely forgets its own history. It just hides it in places you wouldn't think to look. The funny part is that once you notice one example of the old ride lives on, you start looking for them everywhere. Suddenly the park feels less like separate experiences and more like one big interconnected story. 9. Leave a Legacy is a guest-made time capsule. Alright, now we're going to Epcot, and as you first enter or leave, you may notice these colorful walls lining the entryway by the parking lots. Leave a Legacy is basically Epcot's public scrapbook. Thousands of tiles made by guests displayed so you can walk past memories from a different era of the park. What started as a personal keepsake became a scavenger hunt. People look up family names, hunt down old photos, and yes, fans track down celebrity-related tiles too, including the members of NSYNC. Just look for rows 64 to 68 before you say bye to the park for the day. For a park built on big ideas and planning a prototype community of tomorrow, it isn't only telling you its story, it's showing you pieces of yours, and everyone else's, frozen in time. 8. Connections Eatery's floor holds park map lore. Connections Eatery is where most people go into snack mode, or to get some Starbies. But the floor design has sparked a long-running idea that it resembles a concept layout, like a schematic disguised as modern pattern work. Is it officially a secret blueprint? It's a park built on geometry, planning, and systems, so a map-like pattern feels right at home. It makes you look down and notice the environment around you instead of treating it like a background. You'll begin noticing how pathways frame sightlines, how plazas open up, and how details guide your eyes. It turns a quick meal stop into a real eye-opener into how the world around us is designed, which is basically Epcot in a nutshell. Or was. 7. Mission Space hides Horizons nod to the past. Mission Space replaced Horizons. Still angry about that one. And Imagineers left a small tribute that longtime Epcot fans love because it's not framed as a big announcement. In the queue, look at the rotating gravity wheel style element and check the very center. That's where the Horizons logo appears, tucked in like a quiet memorial. It's a clever move because it's not hidden in some impossible corner. You're standing there anyway. Disney simply trusts that the right people will notice and feel that little jolt of recognition. Even if you never experienced Horizons, which I'm so sorry, I wish you could go back and watch ride-throughs of it. Walt Retro WDW has a great one. The tribute still tells you something important. Epcot evolves, but it doesn't just pretend the past never happened, it leaves breadcrumbs. And there's something very Epcot about that. The park's whole identity has always been tied to changing visions of tomorrow, which means yesterday is always right behind it, if you know where to look. The tribute has been there for years, waiting for people to stop staring at their phones and glance up. 6. Journey of Water shows Moana cast in the rockwork. One of my favorite new attractions that reminds me of old Epcot is the Journey of Water. It's beautiful on a casual walkthrough, but it becomes so much more rewarding when you treat it like a scavenger hunt. The rockwork is made up of characters from the movie, and carved references are tucked into the environment. It's all blended in well enough that you can miss them completely if you're just rushing through. That's the point. The land is built to feel like nature is telling the story, not like a sign is explaining it to you. The first time through, most people focus on the water effects and the overall atmosphere. The second time, you start scanning details, shapes, carvings, little hints that connect back to the film.
Yeah.
It's also a good example of modern Disney leaning into spaces where the environment is the attraction. No ride vehicle, no big show moment, just you moving through a pace that responds to attention. And honestly, Epcot needs more of that. 5. The poisoned apple lurks in Germany. When traveling through Bavaria, or Germany I should say, you can find references to old fairy tales like those told by the Brothers Grimm. Most famous of all is Snow White. who we all remember was poisoned by the evil queen with a poisoned apple. That culprit is hiding in the gift shop. You can find a few apples around there, but one in particular is coated in a green goo, forming the outline of a skull. It's small enough that most people miss it. There's also a nice bit of Disney history baked into it. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was Disney's first full-length animated feature, so the apple isn't just a villain's ploy, it's a symbol tied to the studio's earliest big swing. 4. Germany's Berlin Wall stein is real history sitting on a gift shop shelf. Just across the way in Germany, there's a beer stein that you can buy that's fitted with an authentic fragment of the Berlin Wall. That's not just inspired by history, that's history itself. And it's significant because the Berlin Wall represents real division, real stakes, and a very real human story tied to the Cold War. So finding a piece of it in a World Showcase gift shop is genuinely surreal. It's also one of the most literal examples of what Epcot can do when it's at its best. Put you in contact with real-world culture and history while you're in a theme park. The contrast is part of why it sticks with you. One minute you're eating pretzels, the next you're looking at a remnant of the Cold War. The Berlin Wall fell in 1989, making it feel even more like living history. 3. The Crown and Crest lets you look up a surname and walk out with a story. In the UK pavilion, the Crown and Crest is an underrated shop because it's not flashy. It's quietly interactive. You can look up your last name, find your family's coat of arms, and even personalize souvenirs with your crest. But that is if your family has ties to the UK, or if you know your family's last name. It also fits perfectly in World Showcase, where the whole idea is that culture isn't just something you look at, it's something you engage with. It's a small personal moment inside a huge park day, and it can turn into one of those souvenirs that actually means something later because it's tied to a memory, not just a purchase. 2. The UK Pavilion is a stroll through eras of British architecture. While you're exploring the UK Pavilion, you realize Disney isn't just trying to create one exact town. It's arranged like a walkthrough of different layers of British architecture. There are smaller, older cottages with thatched roofing in one direction and more formal styles in another. One of the real-world references people connect it to is Hampton Court Palace, known for its Tudor look and its long association with King Henry VIII. That palace style is so distinctive with its warm red brick, grand courtyards, and those distinctive brick chimneys. And whether it's listening to a band perform Oasis or the Beatles, the UK Pavilion is basically a living time capsule that you can be a part of, if you look at it the right way. 1. The UK to France Bridge feels like crossing the English Channel. That transition from the UK Pavilion to France is one of Epcot's best quiet tricks. It's not just a convenient walkway. The water, the bridge, the spacing, and the sightlines create a natural separation. So when you step into France, it feels like a reset, not simply the next area. Your ears pick it up too. The soundscape changes, the visuals change, and your brain does the rest. That's World Showcase's superpower. It creates distinct places without hard borders. You're gently guided from one mood to another. And it's a great reminder that some of Disney's smartest work isn't in big obvious set pieces, it's in transitions. The paths are doing storytelling work while most of us are thinking about where to eat next. Also, it might be the only version of crossing from the UK to France where nothing goes wrong. And the biggest risk is realizing you're in France and immediately needing a pastry like it's a basic human requirement. So next time you go to Disney, try this. Spend 5 minutes just looking up and down, 5 minutes looking around, and you'll be glad that you took the time to find a few more secrets hiding in plain sight. The parks get better when the background begins to become part of the fun. Drop your favorite hidden detail in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Stay tuned for more great videos like this one, where you can learn about 25 things to watch on Disney+. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you again next time, friends. See you real soon.